Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Shabbat Shalom, Rabbi. No. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. There we go. I know, it's amazing. And I know everybody watching on Zoom and Instagram and Facebook, I know you also said Shabbat Shalom in your living room, in your car, in the kitchen, in the bathroom, wherever you're joining us from. Welcome. We're so thrilled that you're here with us, even if you're not here with us on the beautiful Weinstein courtyard here at the Irmas Campus. Such a beautiful, beautiful evening to be together. Take just a minute before we begin. For those who are here, double check that your cell phones are turned off. If you still have a pager or some other electronic device that could disturb the service, please make sure that's turned off as well. Those of you at home, please do not turn off your devices. That would be counterproductive. Hey, Bill. Shabbat Shalom. We're going to begin our service this evening on page 10. Page 10 with the words of Hine Matov. How good, how wonderful it is for us to sit together, be together. Welcome Shabbat with Shabbat Light with the lighting of our Shabbat candles on pages 2 and 3, and it's our pleasure to invite up our families who are becoming B'nai Mitzvah tomorrow, Caleb and his family, and Georgie and her family, to light our Shabbat candles. Parents too. the light in.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Shabbat Shalom.
We'll turn now to page 20 for Lachadodi as we welcome our Shabbat bride. We'll join together in verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. And when we reach verse 9, we'll rise and turn and face from where we entered as if to greet that Shabbat bride. Turn to page 24 for Shalom Aleichem as we welcome our Shabbat angels.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, Harosh Ba.
like to introduce Scott Sr., who is joining us tonight on this bima for the 400th time. It's Scott's 400th anniversary singing on the bima at Wilshire Boulevard Temple. I just took a guess. I don't think it's 400, but it's many. Scott has grown up in this congregation, has been singing with us since he was
A lot shorter.
he was taller than me at 9. But is it about when you were 9 or 10?
Close to my bar, well, a little before my bar mitzvah, I think, something like that.
Okay, but who's counting?
Yeah, I mean,
We're just all blessed and fortunate that Scott is here tonight and joining with us in song. Page 26, Chatzi Kaddish. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbi.
Amen.
Ve'alamadi v'rakirute ve'amnich malkute. V'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chaye l'chol beit Yisrael. Bagala, bagala, u'v'zman kariv ve'imru. Amen. Yesh me'raba mevarach ve'alam ulale me'almaya yitbarach yitbarach ve'yishtabach ve'yitpa'ar ve'yitroma ve'yitnaseh ve'yithadar ve'yitaleh ve'yitalal shemei dekutsha ve'richulela min kol birchatach ve'shiaratach tushbechatach ve'nechematach ta'amiram be'alma ve'imru Amen.
We rise for the Baruch Hu, page 28.
We join together now in the singing of Ahavat Olam. God's love, God's gift to us is the Torah, page 32.
Ahavat olam beit Yisrael, ahavata אלוקיך, ונשמח לדברי תורתך ומצוותיך לעולם ועד. כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו ובהם נגיעה בלילה. 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 ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל. שמע ישראל אדוני אלוהינו אדוני אחד. ברוך שם כבוד מלכותו לעולם ועד.
We can be seated. For Georgie and Caleb, you're not to be seated. You got work to do?
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברתם בם, ושבתך לביתך ובבנך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, והבשרתם להיות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזותיך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם אלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Now we're going to lead and ask our congregation to join in the English reading at the top of the facing page, page 37. Love your God with every heartbeat,
with every breath, with every conscious act. Keep in mind the words I command you today. Teach them to your children. Talk about them at work. Whether you are tired or you are rested, let them guide the work of your hands. Keep them in the forefront of your vision. Do not leave them at the doorway of your house or outside your gate. They are reminders to do all of my mitzvot, so that you become holy in the love of God. I am Adonai your God. I have led you out of Egypt to become your God. I am Adonai your God.
You will come back. We join now in our ancient song. So ancient, probably 3,000 years ago. Perhaps the oldest fragment in the Torah, our sages believe, and the oldest Hebrew poem in existence, the Shirat Hayam, the Song at the Sea. And what did they sing after they crossed the sea to freedom? Michamach. So we join together and sing.
Chazak mimenu, Baruch atah Adonai, Ka'al Yisrael.
Amen.
Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will.
Again.
pages 44, V'shamra.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל
You can be on live stream.
את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
וביום השביעי שבת וינפש.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
We'll turn now to page 46 and we rise for the Amidah.
Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi gidilatecha. Baruch ata Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avoteinu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Koneh Hakol, V'Zocher Chastei Avot V'Imahot, U'Mevi Geola Livnei B'nehem, Leman Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshiach U'Magen, Baruch Ata Adonai, Magen Avraham Ve'ezrat Sarah, Ata Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol Ata, Ra V'Hoshia, Morit Hatal, Mechalkel Chaim Bechesed, Mechayeh HaKol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Verofei Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Mi Chamocha Baal Gevurot, Umidom Melach, Melech Mimid Umechayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman ata l'hachayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai Michayeh HaKol.
Continue with the remainder of our Amidah silently through page 62, either with the words on the pages of the prayer book or the words of our hearts.
Page 60, Shalom Rav, our prayer for peace.
Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. 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 Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. 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 V'tov beinecha levarech et amcha Yisrael bechol עת ובכל שעה בשומך. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. 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 Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam.
We turn our thoughts amidst our joy and our celebration on the Shabbat to loved ones and family members, members of our community who are in need of healing, in need of wholeness. And in a moment, in the middle of page 253, we'll offer a Misha Berach, a prayer of healing for them. So if you're thinking of someone who could use a bit of wholeness, a bit of healing, I invite you to rise at this time, and as my eyes meet yours, to share that name aloud.
blessed our fathers. May the one who blessed our mothers hear our prayer, 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 and bless us as well. Bless us with the power of your healing. Bless us with the power of your hope. May our hearts be filled with understanding and strengthened by the power of your love. Mi Shapiro,
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. I was at the Glazer campus yesterday morning for an in-person clergy meeting, which is something that used to happen every single week, but is now an anomaly and something to appreciate being in a room together with my colleagues. Cantor, Gurney, and I were there together, and I took a few moments after the meeting to walk across the hall from the learner conference room into the sanctuary, which was dark and empty, and just to sit there for a few minutes, which I try never to be on campus and not at least spend a moment in the sanctuary. And I was sitting there, and it was the perfect time of day where there was some light coming through the stained glass windows on the east side of the building. And there was this blue light coming through those windows, and it hit one of the menorahs on the front, one of the gold menorahs on the front of the bima just right, and created this sort of amazing, almost blinding reflection in the room. And it got me thinking about those menorahs and about this week's parasha, because those two menorahs are modeled after menorot that stood at the temple in Jerusalem. And the Torah portion that we read this week begins with God's instructions to Aaron about exactly how to light those menorahs. Just as a fun fact, prior to the renovation of the sanctuary, which we figured out, Don, was 10 years ago now. Today we were talking about, this feels like about 3, but 10, they were actually gas. And that proved to be too challenging, difficult, and dangerous in the renovation, and now they're just candles that we light prior. But in the beginning of the parsha this week, Aaron is instructed as to how to light these menorahs. And he's told, when you light the lamps of the menorah, let the light shine out in front of the menorah. Let the light shine out in front of the menorah. Now, the rabbis in their commentary wonder what exactly these menorahs were for. Is the light for God, they wonder? Or is the light for the people? They explain that the light was meant to shine out in front of the menorahs so that it would shine onto the people. The light is not for God, they conclude. The light is for us. They imagine God explaining to Aaron, it's not that I require light, that I'm reminding you about the menorah. It's so that you may have light. The light isn't for God. The light is for us. This little vignette highlights, I think, one of the inherent tensions in Judaism, in religion in general, for that matter. Does religion exist to serve God's needs or to serve ours? My father, who claims that he is an atheist, he's not, he's an agnostic, but he doesn't know the difference, but claims that he is an atheist. Sorry, Dad, if you're on Facebook. Some of our Choosing Judaism alums are here. They know that I like to pick on my dad when he's not listening. Is fond of asking me at times, do you really think that God listens when you pray? And I always sort of answer the same way. I say, I think that's the wrong question, because I don't pray for God. I pray for me. It's about me. Prayer isn't meant to change God. Prayer is meant to change us. So as heretical as it may sound, Judaism is not about devoting our lives to God. It's about bringing God into our lives. It's about transforming our lives into rich and meaningful lives, filled with purpose and joy. Lives filled with the light of those menorahs, lives filled with the light of these Shabbat candles that shine so brightly. Shabbat Shalom. Just a few brief announcements before we begin to conclude this evening. Again, Mazel Tov to Caleb and Georgie. Call to the Torah's B'nai Mitzvah tomorrow. We're so happy for both of you and your families. We know you're going to be amazing, no pressure, fantastic, and wonderful to have you both and your families here tonight. Scott, thank you for being here, man. I remember when you were definitely shorter than me. Maybe Don doesn't, but I certainly do. And a special thank you to all of our musicians, to Leo, to Hope, to Phil. It's yep. You know, this is just so much better than Zoom from my house was. Right, Don? You in your dining room?
Yes. Oh, God. One more of those I don't know what I would have done with it.
God help us all. Any other announcements?
That Scott's going to be with us the next couple of Fridays. Right?
Amazing.
Yeah, I thought you were.
We haven't talked about it.
Oh, well, we'll talk about it later. Oh,
Hey, Scott, apparently you're going to be
stuck
with
now.
us the next few Fridays.
you tell me when you're available, and then I'll invite you.
With that, before this gets worse, we're going to turn to page 282.
Could only get better.
Page 282. The bottom of the page will rise for Aleinu.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו קרב, וגורלנו ככל עמונה. אנחנו גורים ומשתחווים הקדוש ברוך הוא ונאמן
seated. We turn our thoughts now to sacred moments of memory, moments of Kaddish, as we recall loved ones and family members, members of our community who are no longer with us. If you're here tonight to say Kaddish for a loved one, we ask you to rise at this time. We begin by thinking of those for whom we're in a period of shloshim, those who have died during these past 30 days. As we call to mind Jessica Baer, Robert Bob Feldman, Jay Goldberg, Helen Roseman, Sylvia Schlosser, Myron Mike Sholem, Sonia Wallen, Joseph David Weissman, and Joanne Wolf. We add to their names the names of those whose yahrzeits occurred during this past week: May Alberstone, Valentine Amid, Mildred Barish, Jack Barnes, Misha Bellick, Louis Berger, Albert Block, Deanne Bloom, Naomi Brennan, Olga Brewer, Florence Brown, Sidney Chursky, Leonard Cohen, Irving Kohler, Susan Crane, Frederick Creamer, Max Demoff, Milton Eller, Samuel Epstein, Jean Feinstein, Frederick Fenton, Jules Feiertag, Marjorie Fisher, Ralph Fomel, Aaron Friedman, Henya Freeberg, Joseph Friedman, Leo Gold, Dorothy Goldberg, George Goldfein, Donna Goldstein, Mort Green, Susan Greenberg, Anita Greenberg, Howard Greller, Sidney Hirsch, Louis Israels, Marcia Jacobs, Gertrude Justman, Michelle Kane, Lucille Kaplan, Ben Kaplan, Harry Katz, Sidney Katz, Leslie Klein, Margaret Klein, Stephen Klein, Isidore Kornhauser, Sylvia Crevin, Jeanette Lampert, Sam Levin, Lester Levy, Robert Lewis, Lenore Littman, Yale Lurie, Bess Lustig, Paul Mayer, Susan Martin, Minerva Mendelson, Hadley Miller, Celia Morgulane, Effie Munjak, Leah Mayers, Mayor Nagy, Henry Nieberg, Victor Noodleman, Jack Opper, Rose Osgood, Gary Parks, Helen Pollock, Elaine Pustel, Oscar Reese, Richard Ritter, Sylvia Rodsky, Sally Rose, Milton Rosenfeld, Misha Rudin, Sam Saba, Harry Saul, Martin Schatz, Ruth Schiffer, Lawrence Searman, Joan Seff, Sylvia Shapiro, Jeanette Sherman, Issy Sloan, Gideon Stein, Ann Steinberg, Lottie Talpas, Benjamin Tarshish, Murray Taylor, Florence Tucker, Alvin Vogel, Beverly Wagner, Frank Webb, Elaine Wexler, Seymour Wegg, Marina Whitestein, David Wilkes, Arthur Winter, and Michael Zellickson. If there are names to add or a name that I've mispronounced, please feel free to add it at this time. We also call to mind those to whom we are grateful but do not know, those who have fallen defending the flags of the United States of America, the State of Israel, and all the innocent victims of senseless terrorism and violence all over the world, as well as everyone who has no one to say Kaddish for them. We take them all into our hearts as our own. Zichronam livracha, may their memories always and forever be a blessing. The Mourner's Kaddish is on page 294. We rise. Itgadal v'itkadash shemei Rabba, be'alma divrach ilutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chaye echon v'yom echon v'chaye t'chol beit Yisrael, b'agala v'zman kariv imru amen. Shemei Rabba mevarach v'elam v'lomei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitroman v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei d'kudasha v'richu, Ve'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, damiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shmaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mroma, v'yaseh shalom ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen.
Shalom
shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Oseh shalom mimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Oseh shalom mimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Oseh shalom mimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol
Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kishanu mitzvotav ve'ratza banu v'shabbat koshcho ve'ahava u'ratzon yichilanu zikaron le'maaseh v'reishit ki hu yom telah למקרא קודש, זכר יציאת מצרים. טיבנו בחרת, ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון. הנחלתנו, ברוך אתה אדוני, מקודש השבת. Amen. L'chaim, there are Kiddush cups and grape juice and challah on the back table. I'll do this on behalf of all of you.
It's Welch's. Don't.
It's one of the best grape juices I've had today. Shabbat shalom, everyone. Ba 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 Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen.
Say avon, everyone. Shabbat shalom.
Oh.
The reigning champion, Cantor Gurney.
He's had more practice.